Okay, this is the daily review for Wednesday, the 10th of August. Boy, what an incredible day. You never know when these days are going to come, but when they do, they're fantastic. Um, we start each day at 5, and this entry to the upside occurred just when we were getting started, so we did not participate. However, we were marking support at about where this market did base in here at 43.45, and we were looking for resistance up at around the 44 mark. And so if we were set and ready to go a little bit earlier, we would have been looking to get to the upside here. We had a higher high pivot with a higher low pivot within a range, so we could expect to at least get up into this range, and that would have been part of our participation. We came back down. We made a nice retracement down near the lower band, and I thought, well, we would get long here with the idea that we would revisit these areas because we didn't quite get up to the area that I had for resistance. So we were still marking an upward progression. Had a little bit of weakness beginning to show on the momentum indicator, but we did get long here with the idea of we always take positions with two contracts. So we were able to get the first contract off at plus 10, and we did make an exit on the second contract as we were starting to show weakness here on the price action moving up to this resistance. And so I started to think that since I had these well-established areas above and below the market, that we might just go into a channel. So at this point, at about 7 o'clock, we didn't have the upward momentum that we had back here, that it did change somewhat by the price action and by the momentum indicator. So we're in the middle of the range. This really could go either way, but on the shorter term time frame, I did have an entry here to the short side, a very limited risk. So we did get short here with the idea of getting short two contracts, a two contract set, always on everything. We got the first one off at the lower band, and I would expect, unless and until this thing broke, that this support would hold. And so we took profits on the second contract. And when we started to base in here and on the shorter term time frame chart got a long entry, we did get long with the idea that we would at least come up to make a retracement, and then on the second contract, we could manage the risk so that if we did come up back up into this range, at this point, we begin to see another pattern. We see a lower high posted here. We see a lower low posted here. So we're starting to move in this direction, and that's where I pointed this arrow. That in general define the trend by higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs. We were starting to see a trend to the downside, but we still had plenty of support here. We're in the middle of the range. We're at a nice retracement from this move down to support and up. So I had a fairly low risk entry, thinking that I could at least get the first contract off down here at support and then carry the second. And so that's exactly what we did. We went down here, we got the first contract off at support and went right through the support level that we had before. And I had another support level here. And coupled with that, I had a pivot point here going back several days in which this market had bounced off of it and really had obeyed this pivot point. So I had a lot of confidence that would be someplace that the market would go. I brought my stop down to break even. I saw a breakout here. I know we had some news being released in here, and so before I had a chance really to look for any type of an exit, it went through these levels like a dart. And we continued to come downward. I brought my stop down thinking that, well, once we achieve the next level, we'll look for an exit spot in here. The market was very strong to the downside and went through that very quickly. The next support level was down to 142 even and change. And so when we started to see this little bit of price action here. I brought my stop down. I locked in 100 points. At this point, I knew with the previous trades that I had taken and including this run, I had over 200 points made for the day. It's 9:30 in the morning, and after you see a move like this, oftentimes what will follow can be pretty risky, certainly more volatile, and I expect some choppy, very volatile action to follow after a big move like this. So I closed the trade. And I closed it. And when I did, the market continued to go through it. And what's fascinating to me is that as the market started to find its base, it found it at one of the levels that I had on the screen. Like I said, I've been looking at these a number of years, and you would think that over time it would be less fascinating. But as we've continued throughout the day, it is amazing. It is uncanny how this market will find its base between two of these levels. And sure enough, we went into a very sideways, choppy environment. It is days like today that confirm the basis of my approach. I never know when these things are going to move like this. I didn't know this thing was going to fall out of bed this morning, but I was in it. The basis of my work is to trade in 2 contract sets, identify very high percentage moves that I can participate on the first contract, adjust and reduce my risk on the second, and follow with the management of the trade on the second contract and let it take me. It's been about being in it when it moves and reducing the risk along the way. So for me, day trading the intraday markets have never really been about being right or predicting anything. It has been about being in it when it does move. I invite you to join us in the room for a day. If you go to the website, tradingeurofutures.com, and click where it says click here to register, you'll be presented with a form. Fill out that form, send it in. You can get a free trial for HotCom. If you already have or have had HotCom in the past, send us an email and we'll shoot you a login ID that will give you a few days free for the trial, and you can get in the room and see what we do each day.